Hey there, it's bootsowen here. This is a Hotpoint WM81. It's a 1200 spin washing machine. UK made, or Great Britain made. It's a really, well, I would say it's quite an old one. Not that old. It's got a nice bit of green on it there. Interesting colour scheme. Oh, I guess it matches that green up there to go with the red here. I'm just going to take a look at it kind of for nostalgia and old washing machine's sake. It's quite badly rusted on the front. There's a bit on behind the door there as well. Is there somewhere? No, it's up here. A bit there, a bit down the centre of the front, and a bit up there. So it's not really good enough for me to sell. It just wouldn't sell where I am. There's no point in using it up really. But it reminds me of the WM11P washing machine that I had recently. A lot of people said, oh, you should keep that, you know, they're very rare and all this. And well, a few weeks later, here I am with pretty much the same machine, but slightly different. Inside, it looks almost identical. Same brick, same soap drawer back, motor up on top with a little tensioner for the belt, electromechanical timer. You know, everything seems to be quite similar on this. Again, harken back to the old days of washing machines at least. It is quite well made, but it's made out of cheapsy kind of parts. It's got a metal top on it, which isn't something you see every day. I don't know that I've seen that very often. It's a bit more swish than the WM11P, you know, it's got more curved pieces in it and that, whereas WM11P was a bit square and chunky. But it's quite alright. It's got the same back on it, I think. And it doesn't have a lint filter on the front. You have to get in behind or underneath to the coin basket, and I'll put up a video about the coin basket in this one, as I usually do. Looking at it, the power comes into a noise suppressor there, and then the power goes over to the control panel over here, the control module even. It's got a circuit board, which looks in pretty good nick really. It's got an electromechanical timer, it's got a temperature controller and a spin controller. You got your pressure switch there. The front on it clips off, the front of the tub clips off, so you can, in theory, service the bearings on this one. Don't know how easy that would be. It doesn't have any, again, doesn't have any suspension springs that like the washing machine hangs from or the tub hangs from. Instead, it's on these two kind of shock absorber points down way down the bottom, way down in there, and then it has these springs to keep it centered. But it can move about quite a bit, you know. And it's mostly restrained and by the springs, but also a bit by the rubber on the front and the other hose there. It's a fine machine, I'm sure it works. In fact, I've really no reason to doubt that it works. But it's just not worth keeping, so I'm going to do the thing that I usually do with it, given that I found it on the street and it owes me nothing. I'm going to make a video of me throwing a brick in it, or throwing something else in it. It's in a queue with another Hotpoint Aquarius, a Hoover HP 236. That's a WMA40, so it's almost got the same door on it, but this one's a bit more substantial. And there's another, it's going to be a Hotpoint festival really, an 8kg HE8L 493 washing machine. There's a dryer over there, but I can't get the tub to even turn, so it's completely seized, that old Whirlpool dryer, so it's just going to have to go for scrap without any fun. I've got a few things here. I've got an old jack, an old hydraulic bottle jack, an iron, and some brake discs. All of them are relatively heavy, and I think should give us a bit of action. But if you have anything else you think you'd like me to put into a washing machine, let me know. This one, I think, judging from what the WM11P did, I think it's gonna be quite a tough one. I think it'll dance if you don't give it too much and it doesn't burst. It'll dance for quite some time, whereas that silver one over there, if you remember the old Meat Buster video, Buster just exploded, and I think that one is going to do the same. I also think the bearings are gone in that one, so I don't really know how long it's going to last at all, but we're going to give them all a go, maybe this weekend if things go to plan. The weather's beautiful, so we might get a bit of time to do that. Yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know, well, let me know if you think it's worth keeping for some bizarre reason. I don't see eye to eye with you. I guess, like, if you were really into these things, you could take the front off, get it dipped and then powder coated or something to, you know, rejuvenate it, but hey. Oh, the other weird thing about this is, it's not that weird, but the power cable's been cut at some stage and someone's used a strip connector wrapped in plastic. plastic insulating tape there to fix it all back together again. And aside from that bodged power cable, another thing I've just noticed is that in the end of the drain hose, someone's shoved a wine cork. So they must have kind of thought that that was the end of this machine. They were going to leave it out, they wanted to get it out nice and clean, but I guess the simple way of getting that wine cork out is just to use a corkscrew. Yeah, funny, I've not seen that before. I wonder why they cut that, but well, I'm not going to wonder too hard about it, it's just a novelty. Just a bit of a diversion on this machine. Yeah, if you've got any ideas for something you'd like me to throw in, something heavy preferably, but I can throw anything into it really. I'm going to do a wash with soap as well, too much soap. So I might try this one at a test wash with too much soap first, see how that goes. Better get some soap actually, thinking of that. Soap wash in this one, car jack, brake rotors, iron, coffee machine. Projects abound. One of the things that I might mention here is that, like, looking at this machine, a lot of the components are quite interchangeable. Your little noise suppressor there, your hoses, your inlet valves, and even on modern washing machines, a lot of the components will be the same over a lot of washing machines. So your pressure sensors typically are very similar. Motors and machines will be usable across a couple of brands or a couple of different ones. You know, the motor there is made by FHP motors, which will be nothing to do with Hotpoint really. It might be, but typically they're CE set motors and things like that. The same with the pumps. The pumps typically are the same on all washing machines nowadays. I remember hearing something recently that there's like a movement on to compartmentalize these technological things so that you'll be able to swap them out and make something and upgrade it and this kind of thing. Well, you know, if that was the case, washing machines really would have been the best example of it, but you don't hear ever about someone going out and upgrading the pump on their washing machine or the spin speed with a faster motor or any of that stuff, because it doesn't really work like that. You know, if you upgrade the motor, you need a new bearing, so really you need to do the motor and the tub at the same time so that they can both withstand a higher spin speed. This doesn't really make sense to me. Or that you could add a hot fill, but hot fills have kind of been done away with nowadays from the eco front. Personally, I'll have a rant about hot fills now. I like the hot fill because on our house we have a combi boiler, which means that we have instant hot water. From what I can tell, the hot fills have been removed from washing machines because they reckon that if you have a hot fill, you lose all the heat along the pipe coming from your hot tank or your boiler. Whereas I think that's nonsense, because for us, in terms of efficiency, the efficiency for me comes in the money. Electric costs 3 times as much where I live to heat water as does gas. So if I can heat it with my gas boiler, it's going to be a third of the price of heating it with the electric boiler in the washing machine. So you're getting the hot water through. You'll get a faster wash as well because the gas boiler can do a lot more water a lot more quickly. So yeah, there you go. I lament this kind of nonsense about compartmentalizing things, because sure, you can change them, but most people don't want to. They want a new washing machine. The reason this machine was out in the street, I'd say, is because somebody wants a new washing machine. It's not because there's anything wrong with it per se. It's not because you can't get parts for it, because I'm sure all the parts for this one are dirt cheap on eBay, because they're all really simple standard parts, you know. Maybe it would be hard to get the motor, but that motor looks as clean as a whistle to me. Belts you'll get any day, pressure sensor and that kind of stuff. Maybe if your electromechanical timer breaks, it wouldn't be worth fixing anymore, but hey, you know, to replace this kind of a washing machine, you could probably do it for about 120, 150 quid, 200 at a push. You know, like it's not much money really compared to the cost of refurbish. If it's 50 quid to refurbish a motor, people won't bother doing it anyway, so what's the point? Oh dear. Do my head in thinking about things sometimes. Thanks for watching. See you later.